Welcome to another Tuesday Tips at 2 with the Goldbergs about Trump's election challenges and how they prove our system is just fine. A Tuesday Tips at 2 primer on evidence, standing, judicial independence, and our rock-solid state-federal three-branch model. What's the recipe for a successful election? Clearly defined rules, a free media, vibrant political culture, little to no political violence. That's helpful. How about strong institutions to oversee the vote and ensure that the rules are enforced? That's a good combo. So there we all were, November, voting day in the US of A. You remember, you care, you went on out, you cast your ballot, and then, OMG, who won? Well, by now you should know. Democratic president, Republican Senate, we'll see today. Small Democratic majority in the House. State elections going this way and that. Newsflash, we're still a divided country. And isn't that great? To some of us, we're all like this guy. Yeah, go America, go team. I'll put myself in this bucket. Others were sad clowns, angry clowns. I wanted a blue wave. I wanted a red wave. This surely isn't what my desire was. But one guy in particular was very displeased. You know who I'm talking about, the Donald. So, what did he do? Oh, he went to town. Tweets, greatest hoax ever. China. The Trump campaign, its surrogates, and others filed lawsuits in court, and they had their day, as they're entitled. 60 cases filed in dozens of different jurisdictions, whether state trial courts, state appellate courts, federal district and appellate courts, and even the United States Supreme Court. TikTok, what occurred? 60 losses later. Thus, they're batting 0.000. Tough stuff. Many of these judges were elected Republican judges in the state courts. Many were appointed by Republican presidents previously, i.e. federal judges, and several by the Trump administration itself. Even Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett, his own Supreme Court nominees that were on the Supreme Court at the time, shot him down. Judicial independence is alive and well here in this country. But boy, did that hurt him. Oof. Pow. The courts dismissed the Trump campaign lawsuits for far more reasons than merely no evidence, though often there really wasn't very much of any. The court's rationale for dismissing the Trump's lawsuits are applicable to all litigation, all lawsuits. One, you must have standing, or in this case, they didn't, i.e. the right of people or parties to challenge the conduct of others in court. Judge might say, sure, there's a complaint to be made, but are you the guy to make it, or are you just a kvetcher with the resources to file lawsuits? What's the goal of having a standing requirement? It's to avoid judicial waste. You prioritize who gets to fight. There are only so many judges and courts in this country. We only have finite resources, after all. A second big rationale we saw for a lot of the dismissal of the Trump campaign lawsuits: timeliness, or rather untimeliness, i.e. a failure to assert a claim in timely fashion, whether set by statute, e.g. statute of limitations, contract, or practicality. Judge might say, okay, perhaps these rules were loosey-goosey and some fraud could have occurred, but why talk to us about it now? Why not challenge these rules or applications long before? The goal of timing requirements: memories fade, evidence is lost, and parties need certainty. In the context of elections, the law disfavors throwing out cast ballots is unfair. Best to correct a judicial officer, clerk, or legislator in advance than to discount votes that are already cast after the fact. The third big rationale that we saw for a lot of the dismissal of the Trump lawsuits: burden of proof, or the failure to meet it, i.e. the sufficiency of evidence needed to prove one's case. Examples: preponderance of evidence, beyond reasonable doubt, although there are other burdens, i.e. standards. judge in Pennsylvania might have said, that truly is an example of 100 acts of voter fraud, which legitimately must be prosecuted. But you lost by 81,660 votes. So what are we doing here? What difference would it make? Goal of having burdens of proof in any litigation. Judicial decisions can have serious consequences, so they best be based on some overwhelming evidence. You wish to flip a called election? All right, show us the proof. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The system works. State legislators set election rules. County clerks enforce them. The president's Department of Justice or state's attorney general or local prosecutors may investigate wrongdoing. The elected officials can file challenges. The courts, elected or appointed, then rule. We got the Electoral College. We got state legislators, federal legislators, executive wing, judicial. These guys would be proud. The wars they fought to uphold these principles were worth it. Yeah, honest Abe, George, America. I have lost personal, professional losses in court. Stings. It sucks. But I believe in the system. That's why I'm a part of it. I'm a lawyer because I believe that the judicial system in this country does work. And the legislature and the executive all have a hand to play in it. If you do not believe in the system, you have many options. Not just to move off to another country, but don't engage. Don't run an election if you think that it's going to turn out to be a fraud. Don't bring your problem to court if then after, when the court makes a decision based upon law, procedure, etc., you then say the system is broken, America sucks. Just don't do it. This problem doesn't apply to the sore loser currently in office, but to others as well. We all might have heard of Stacey Abrams in Georgia and others that lost elections and lost court battles, and rather than just saying, that's that, moving on, instead they condemned it all and said, this isn't fair and that's not right. It's not how it should be. Let's take a little page out of the Al Gore and George H.W. presidential playbook. They lost, they were gracious about it, and the world was better off. Tune in next week for another Tuesday Tips at 2 with the Goldbergs. Looking forward to it. Be well.